Joe Rogan left California, went to Texas. Many other people announced they'd be leaving these big cities and are fleeing. The exodus is real. We've seen it across the board with many states absorbing people and many states losing people. And to be fair, I'm leaving too. It's almost like Atlas Shrugged. You know, all the talented, smart people are fleeing as fast as they can as chaos engulfs cities. We'll see how this plays out. We have this Medium post. The privileged have entered their escape pods. Technology gave us the dream of a cocooned future. Now we're living it. They mentioned this one segment. Don't tell anyone what one of my neighbors told me when he came over to borrow some chlorine tablets. But we're thinking to ride this whole thing out in Zurich, where the numbers are better. His wife still has her European passport, and they both have jobs that can be done entirely remotely. They'd be joining scores of people I know, not millionaires, but writers and marketers and consultants and web developers who are resettling in Canada or Europe on the logic that their kids shouldn't be sacrificed to their progressive parents' sense of shame about escaping. I don't necessarily care about this whole article here. The point is, as things started to get crazy, many people who are privileged, I guess, whatever you want to call it, wealthy enough, are jumping in their escape pods and they're getting out before the chaos erupts. And it is erupting. And I won't be shy about it. I'm included. We are planning we've been planning an expansion for some time. I needed more space. I was planning on operating locally, but then when COVID happened and my governor in New Jersey went insane and his brain basically exploded in his head, I decided we got to get out of here. They're arresting business owners. The lockdown here makes no sense. And many of these governors were putting sick people in nursing homes. So I'm out. I'm gone because I can be. Many other people, not so much. And now we're seeing these cities become completely unlivable. It's just getting bad. Check out this tweet from John Levine of the New York Post. On Tuesday, a rabbi mugged. On Monday, a judge was punched. On Sunday, a man was filmed trying to rape a woman on the deck of the metro in New York City. One of the most shocking and insane things I've ever seen. I couldn't believe it. In public, in front of all these people. It's just absolutely insane. Here's the first story. Cold-cocked judge becomes latest victim of senseless NYC violence. Attempted rape on NYC subway platform thwarted, caught on disturbing video. Take a look at this story. Mike Cernovich highlighting this video. Bill Malugan tweeted from Fox LA. LAPD tells us they have launched a personnel investigation after video shows officers letting what appears to be an extremely inebriated driver stumble away from the scene after he crashed into several parked cars in Los Feliz. No breathalyzer, no charges. Cernovich said, what were they supposed to do? Make an arrest and risk more riots? Perhaps a little hyperbolic, but sure, why not? What can police do at this point if they do anything to stop aggressive individuals and criminals while people are filming? They could get fired. People will call for their heads. Someone will say prosecute them and give them the death penalty if things go wrong. What if this extremely inebriated man was brought down to the ground because he was resisting and then died? Because being extremely inebriated, problems happen, maybe heart attack, who knows what? They'll blame the cop. So the cop says, carry on, good sir. I'm not sticking my neck out for anything anymore. What happens when the police stop enforcing the law? And that's why we're seeing the exodus. It's why the privileged are getting into their escape pods. Sure, you can talk about COVID. Many of these articles have talked about the exodus being the COVID exodus. Please. I get it. Businesses are shut down, but I got along just fine in my town. We can go to the store. We bought a bunch of beans. We ate them. We had tacos. It was fantastic. I'm talking about the riots now. The extremists. The people being hunted down and targeted like that guy in Portland. It's funny. Scott Adams said it, remember? Republicans will be hunted. And I laughed. I said, well, come on. Oh, geez. Come on. Even though I've predicted that there will be an escalation of violence, I still thought it was absurd what Scott Adams said. Over the top. Then Portland happened. And they yelled, we got him right here. We got a couple right here. Pull it out. Here, yeah, bang, bang. Killed a Trump supporter. They were walking the other way, minding their own business. So yeah, the privileged elite are realizing what's happening. And I'll tell you something. When you look to someone like Joe Rogan, and you look at someone like me and many others who have fled these cities, I want to tell you something. One of the things that contributes to success is the ability to make accurate predictions. You know, someone like Joe didn't just become successful overnight on accident. Some people do, for sure. But you look, I'll tell you this. I think it's funny every day when I see these people laughing, saying that I'm wrong right now. And I'm like, dude, I hope I'm wrong, to be honest. But come on, man. How much have I predicted that, you know, to an extent came true? I want to be wrong. I just think it's kind of funny. I do this for a living. You know, I got my start covering news because I could predict when there was going to be mass civil unrest. And I didn't think it was particularly difficult. People often wondered how it was that I was always on the ground when these things lit up. And I'm like, well, the governor just said these things and people said these things. So I figured within the next week there'd be a riot. And then I'd be there and they'd be like, how did you know to be there? How did you know to be in Ferguson? I was like, they burned down a gas station, dude. It wasn't hard to predict. They burned down a gas station, so I got on a plane. How did you know that? I followed the news. My business, the things I do, it's all about looking at what's about to happen and then talking about what I see happening. And I've been told over and over again by these journalism companies that I have the unfortunate privilege of being ahead of the market. Now, in terms of technology, that's true. Nobody wants to adopt technology when they don't know how to use it. I get it. But in terms of knowing where the story is, I have always, my success is predicated upon my ability to predict when something is going to happen. Let's go back in time. Let's go back to 2011, Occupy Wall Street. Why was I there? I saw something coming. And so I went, and I was right. And I covered it, and I got attention. Then I covered a lot of these protests throughout the U.S., and I went to Vice, and I said, Turkey is going to light up. And so I went to Turkey, and I shattered viewership records for Vice, and they said, wow. Then I went to Brazil, then I went to Venezuela, then I went to Ukraine, then I went to Thailand. And every single time I said, here's what I suspect is going to happen. I wasn't always correct, but I had a tendency to be able to see, hey, something's going to happen here. So I'll tell you what my entire career is predicated upon. The privileged have entered their escape pods. It's not just me. I may be good at one thing, being like, oh, hey, I think that's going to happen and saying it. It's not the profound ability to read the news and then say, oh, look. But many other wealthy individuals have built careers off understanding how systems work, looking at the crime and chaos in cities, seeing people, look at this, fleet of moving trucks arrive in the Upper West Side. Come on. It's kind of obvious what's going to happen next when there's no tax base in New York City. The police department, the public services will erode and fall apart. They'll call for federal funding. I mean, it's not difficult, is it? You just look at the 80s and you see what was happening with an eroded tax base. Trump brought it back. Or the 70s, I'm sorry. The privileged are leaving. These are people who have built companies because they've said, hey, I see something. If I take this widget and that widget, put them together, I get a super widget. I can sell that. People are going to want to use it. They built something. They saw something no one else did, and they put it together. Now I'm looking at all of these privileged elites, these wealthy celebrities. These people aren't dumb. I mean, Joe Rogan can joke about how he's just some dumb guy, but he's clearly smarter than most people. And you look at people like Donald Trump, they say, what a moron. And I'm like, the dude is a billionaire and he's the president. What makes you think he's stupid? I've had success with my company as well. And I'm doing the same thing as many of these other people, fleeing these cities. What do you think comes next? Why are all the wealthy, successful people who have the ability to do so running as fast as they can? Because they think it's going to get bad. They think it's going to get real bad. I certainly think so. This is kind of an addendum to the past segments I've done. The point is, I love it when I see these hate comments, and they're saying things about, Tim talking about Civil War. What a moron. And I'm just curious because I'm like, you do realize I didn't make this up. And I'm not the first person to say it or talk about it. When I talk about conflict and escalation and chaos, it's actually because I read The Atlantic. There was an article talking about it a couple years ago. They said security experts warn the U.S. is breaking into civil war territory. And I went, wow, that's crazy. I didn't make it up. I just read other people. Then I saw everything. And I said, maybe there's something to this idea. Then I see people fleeing cities, violence erupting in the street, a Trump supporter getting shot in the chest, hunted down. Wow, Scott Adams was right. Yikes. What does that mean? It means you better take care of yourself. It means you better get ready for what's going to happen in November. And it means you better hope that we are all morons. People don't like the idea that what I'm saying is negative. I'm not trying to sensationalize. I'm literally reading a story in the news about an exodus from New York City. I've pulled up a tweet from John Levine about a guy climbed on top of a woman on the train platform in public view. Crime is going up. Lethal crime. Petty crime is going down. I get it. But you have to ask yourself, someone like Warren Buffett, how does he know what to invest in to keep making himself rich, huh? These people who predict the markets and get rich off of it, they must know something, right? They're not predicting the future. They're just analyzing patterns. And then more often than not, they tend to be correct. That's it. They're not necessarily geniuses or the smartest people in the world. They just have a 51% chance they were right. And if all of these people are running full speed out of these cities, I wonder what it means. Take a guess. I think it's going to get real bad. And I hope you're ready. The rich people have jumped ship. We'll see how this plays out. I got one more segment coming up in a few minutes. Stick around, and I will see you all shortly.